Hey Queen, so today I'm going to be doing my most requested video of all time. This were like requests I've gotten in like my Snap messages and like my DMs and stuff from people I know. And this is the story time on how I got kicked out of a trade school. So I'm going to have to go about this really lightly because I feel like if I were to talk about a lot of these situations, I'm going to have a lot of people from that school up my ass mad. So I have to be really fucking careful going about this because I'm not trying to piss people off. I'm just trying to explain my side of the story on every situation that's happened there because a lot of situations happened. So let's get into it. So let's just talk about how it started there. I'm going to put you a little basis of this school. 8 schools combined into one, about 600, 800 kids, all in Hick Town. So every single person there is either a Hick or a pick-me girl. The majority, not everyone, but 95% of that school is drama starters, Hicks, and pick-me girls. Basically, a lot of the terrible people at the home schools would combine because they wanted to leave their reputation in the past. Well, that's not how it worked. They would all talk constant shit about each other, all have constant drama, all have constant fighting. It was all the time. The second I walked in the building, when me and Kayla walked in the building, was barking. I've never been barked at before prior, by the way. I think I was only barked at one time, and that was in the mall. In a whole other state. That was the only time I've ever been barked at. Ever. So it started with the barking, and I've always heard about it on TikTok, but I never experienced it, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was getting barked at, and I thought it was like a one-time thing. It was not. No, it was not. Every single time I would leave my lab, I would get barked at. People would throw stuff at me. People would grab onto my bag and pull on it and rip shit out. The first day of school, somebody stole my Chromebook charger out of my bag. Literally the first fucking day. And I had to pay for that shit later on. Fucking dumb as shit. But literally, it was like that. Constant harassment. I'm going to get you guys into my mental state at the time. I was extremely suicidal. I mean, that was probably the most suicidal I've been in my entire fucking life. Like, I was so fucking suicidal. And I was also a tad bit homicidal because I was so fucking angry. Like, how the fuck could you not be angry when you're being harassed? So, I mean, yes, I was extremely suicidal and a little homicidal. Going through it. I was going through it. Keep this in mind, I was going through it. And since then, in that time period, I have gotten out of that situation. I've actually gotten out of school in general. I'm out of public schooling because I just didn't want any more of this bullshit to happen. So, I completely got out of that shit now. But I'm actually, like, zoning out just thinking about this time period because it was so fucking traumatic for me. And I know that's such a stupid thing to be traumatized by, but, like, if you were getting as bullied as I was, you would understand. And I don't understand. I don't know if any of y'all went through how bad it was with me, but it was bad. I'm just going to talk about all of the situations I can remember. Not all of the situations are mine. Some are other friend situations. But I'm just going to talk about all the situations I've been told about has happened there and all the situations that I myself have went through. And I'm going to give you a story time for each one. So the second I got to the school, I had my lab, and I was actually getting along with them really, really well. And we all got along. We were all having fun. I loved it. Like, I loved my lab at the beginning, by the way. Like, I loved it. And it was really fun, I thought. And I met one of my friends in person, my friend Briley. Briley, I love you. I met her in person for the first time when I was there because we already were, like, mutuals on social media. We'd always talk on social media, but we never met in person. But that's where we met in person because we had the same lab together. We met in person there. So, those were my friends with my lab. And I had 4 friends from my home school, and I had a couple friends who were seniors from another school. And by a couple, I mean 4. And I met them online, too. And then we met in person there. But they were all, like, the 4 of them were seniors. My 2 of my friends from my homeschool were seniors. The other 2 weren't in my lab, and all of my lab friends were not in my classes. So every single class, I was completely alone. Like I said, first day, me and my friends got along in the lab. We were having, I met all my lab friends, and I was, really happy. Walk out of the classroom, the barking starts again. The harassment starts again. My Chromebook charger got stolen. I was getting barked at, growled at, meowed at, told to kill myself all the time. It was constant. At the beginning, I was not really retaliating, but towards the end, I was retaliating. But at the beginning, the first week, I would say, not really retaliating. And basically, it started, I'm just zoning out just thinking about it. It's such a bad fucking hard thing for me to talk about, because just, getting all of those memories back is not something I ever want to have come back. But, me and my 2, best friends from homeschool, they were, in a different lab. We would sit together at lunch, and then my best friend, Kayla, would sit with us at lunch, and it was fine the first day. Keep in mind, they had these vape detectors that were very sensitive, and if you were in the bathroom and it went off, they would search you. That's just a whole nother thing. That's a whole other thing you have to be worried about there, is they're going to blame you for vaping if it goes off. So, first day, that's how it went, was constant harassment. And then my friends were being a little cold to me. When they don't say something's wrong, but something's wrong. That's kind of how I felt. I don't want to dig too deep into that situation, because I don't want to start anything else back. Me and one of them are good. The other one I haven't spoken to in over a year and a half. But me and the one girl, we're on good terms, and I don't want to resurface anything. I don't blame her for anything at all. Me and her talked everything out, so I really don't blame her for anything. But, the other one I have a little bit of unresolved, unworked out things with, because I don't have beef with her. I'm not mad at her. There's just some things I'm a little hurt by. I just haven't talked to her, so I'm not going to really dig too deep into that, because I don't want to start a problem, so I'm just going to leave that one. I'm just going to touch that situation extremely lightly. But like I said, they were, one of them was being extremely, it wasn't even both of them, it was one of them, was being extremely cold towards me, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I noticed this was happening every day. We would sit together, the barking would start, she would grab the other one, they would walk off, and then me and Kayla would be left alone. It was daily. I would text her, wouldn't get a text back. Saw her in the bathroom one time. She stood in that stall until I left. And I was, very confused. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'll talk to the situation. I'm just going to, talk about multiple situations that happened. But, that's just the basis of how that one was going. So I was getting a little upset. So the coldness from her plus the bullying kind of amplified my anger and my sadness and my hurt really bad. Really bad. And the first situation I could think of was, it was the second day of school, and me and my friend Jada, hi Jada, I love you, we were at a fire drill with our the fire drill was the second day of school. We were standing there, and then this one bitch, I'm gonna say bitch, because this bitch is a fucking pick-me. She'd be like, oh my god, so-and-so, I'm so short. She would literally do that in class. I've never experienced a pick-me girl until I went to this school. And let's just say this bitch is ugly as hell. This bitch is fucking ugly. And I'm not trying to talk shit about someone's look, but this bitch was fucking ugly. She looked like she was fucking 40. She did not look 17 or 16. This bitch looked fucking 40. And she looked like a fucking mom. And that's not in a MILF way, as in an ugly mom with 6 baby daddies way. That's what I'm trying to say. This bitch was she started yelling at me and Jada, and she's like, hey, don't talk to her. She's gonna curse you. Because keep in mind, I showed up in that school all trad goth, whatever, expecting to make friends. Because it was a bigger school. That's not how it played out. But there's a whole other situation at my homeschool where I'm not really gonna, that's a whole other story for another time. But this girl and my friend had they had beef. And the one girl threw something at my friend at a basketball game and called her something and accused her of wanting her boyfriend. So she was she pissed my friend off. My friend was really upset about it. So my friend had me, I was really mad about it. And at the time, I was practicing witchcraft. And I don't do it anymore. I went back to Christianity. But at the time, I was a Satanist witch. I told you, I did a lot of soul seeking in that 1 year after leaving there. So you can tell I'm a lot different. But then, that's what I was into. So I put a curse on that girl. I put a fucking curse on her. And the details of the curse were that she would get cheated on by every boyfriend and that she would have no friends. But if you kind of look at her life now, it kind of worked. So that's just an FYI. That's an FYI. It kind of worked. But, yeah. I don't have a problem with her anymore, really. The only problem I have with her is the fact that she's, like, acts like my friend, but then constantly talks shit about me and starts situations that happened 3 weeks ago and, like, brings it up now and, like, comments shit and, like, makes fun of me, but, like, to my face was being so fucking nice to me and all that shit, and I'm like, that's some fake-ass shit, so I don't really mess with that, but I don't have an issue with her, I just don't really fuck with it. And I think it's fake, so I don't really fuck with it. Like I was saying, so basically people at my homeschool told everybody about that curse because I publicly posted it for some reason. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? I was fucking stupid and publicly posted a picture of it and said, I don't know what I said, but I literally publicly posted it. And at the time, she was popular, so everyone knew about it. And so someone at my homeschool told the entire trade school about it. And this bitch found out about it somehow and started yelling about it in front of everyone. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with her? That was the first situation. And I was like, what the actual fuck? This girl becomes a bigger problem later on. Just so you know, Miss Bitch, you probably know who you are if you are watching this. My friends went to school with you and they told me all about you and your behavior. So if you ever want to square up, I'll square up. But... just kidding. Not really kidding. I'm not scared of her. I'm just kidding because I'm not going to jail. But I'm not scared of her. I'm just scared of prison. But, because I'm 18. But, basically, that was the first situation. Situation number 2. This girl from my homeschool who was so fucking weirdly obsessed with talking shit about me. This bitch is built so weird, too. Like, why the fuck is she built like a triangle? And she literally has the build of a fucking pea, but not in the tits area. Like, flat ass. No, she's built like a D. She's built like a D. Like the big gut, flat ass. Yeah, that's how this bitch is built. It's because she wants to talk shit about me. I'm going to tell you what I think right here, right now. And that's what I think about you. Well, she fucking recorded me and posted it on her Snapchat story. And my friend was like, hey, look what this bitch posted. And I'm like, she's not going to fucking sit here and do that shit. So me and Jada, this other person, went to the office about it. And what the office did, they said, there's nothing we can do about it. We can only make her delete it. Come to find out after I left, she actually did get in trouble. But she, like, constantly was, like, talking to this day. I don't even go to that school, and she still brings me up. Like, I have everyone texting me and being like, this bitch will not shut up about you. She's she's showing everybody your YouTube videos. She's making fun of you, calling you names. And I'm like, it's been over a fucking year. And for one, before that, I never spoke to her. So I don't know what the fuck her problem is. Nasty ass bitch. All I gotta say. Nasty. That was situation number 2. Situation number 3 happened in my lab. My lab, I was friends with all of them, and I tried to be, right? Did not want a drama in my lab. I wanted no lab drama at all. I tried and tried to end this thing, but it ended after I left finally. But it started off with my 2 best friends in lab. One of them, like one of my best friends in lab, the whole group of lab people started hating her. And I didn't want any part of them hating her, so I was talking to her still and talking to them and whatever. And then me and my best friend in the lab were talking shit. We were like, why the fuck are they, like, treating her like this? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, why do they hate her so much? And we were just talking, and we were, like, annoyed because, like, it'd be 8 in the morning, and these bitches would be screaming at the top of their lungs for no fucking reason. And I'm like, it was kind of annoying, actually, but, like, I didn't really care. But she cared. So we were, like, talking about that. And then her and my other best friend in lab had a little situation, and I kind of, because I had a little part in it because I did tell, I don't really want to get into, like, the situation because I can't really remember it. I mean, I remember it, But since I have no bad blood with either of them and I love them both to literal death, I'm not gonna really talk about it. But they had a situation, and then one of them got mad at me, and then the lab was on my side, and it was just like a whole situation. Well, I did not care that she barked at me. Like, I personally didn't care, because I was like, I understand she's going through some stuff. Like, I don't care. But my lab had an obsession with every single time someone said anything to them to snitch. That was their favorite thing, was to snitch. And then she barked at me, and this one kid was convinced that she barked at him, so he, like, brought me into the situation, brought us all into the office, and I had to, like, talk about it. And it turned out she was actually barking at me, not this kid. And it was funny, because, like, the second they found out it wasn't the kid that was getting barked at, they dropped the situation. But, like, yeah, basically. I didn't care if she barked at me. And if you're watching this, girl, I love you. Like, I don't care. We're good about that. I don't care. Like, you're fine. But at the time, I didn't care either. I just cared that I got brought to the office. So that's how that panned out. Then I made a TikTok about it for some reason, because I thought it was funny. I don't know why I did that, but I did. And it got brought to the office, and they told me to delete it, or they would take my phone from the cops, whatever bullshit. Like, okay. I deleted it, and that was the end of that one. Me and all the people are good, except the funny thing is, Briley and Jada are the only ones. Briley, Jada, and another friend from there. I have 3 people who I'm still friends with from the lab. Every single other person unadded me the second I left for some reason. Like, that was some fake ass shit. That was fake as fuck. Fake as fuck. That's all I gotta say. Fake as fuck. But literally, almost every single person unadded me. Didn't care. Didn't give a fuck once I left. But when I was there, they were all up on me for some reason. But the second I left, I didn't matter. And, yeah. That's how I feel about it, at least. It was like, why would you unadd me the second I leave? Like, no hard feelings, but why? Like, I don't hate y'all or anything. Like, y'all aren't that bad. Like, you guys are not bad. Like, I don't hate anyone in my lab. Like, at all. I have no beef with any of them. But, yeah. My lab was drama, and they were all fighting. I tried to stay out of it as best as possible, but I got dragged into it. And I tried to end it. It didn't end. They all wanted to beef with each other. They all wanted to report each other. And that's basically a back and forth game of going to the office. Is basically what my lab was doing. So that was going on. The next situation, some random ass bitch, by the way. I don't like her. Because she was dating a guy who has SA'd at least 6 girls. And every single time, someone would tell her, oh, he raped this girl. You know what she would say? That bitch is a fat bitch. I don't think he'd want to touch her. Okay, sure. Like, that's totally so fucking relevant. But, so she made this whole fucking post talking shit about me, calling me a furry and whatever the fuck. And I am not no furry, so I got real mad at her. I was like, what the fuck is your problem? And then we had a whole conversation fighting. And, yeah. Well, I sent a screenshot of it to my friend who was in the same lab as her. My friend was a senior in that lab. The lab teacher told the principal bitch, she is later on in this story, by the way, told Miss Principal bitch. Principal bitch walked up to me and says, just so you know, it's all your fault. And I'm like, what's all my fault? And she says, you and your situation with blank. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, because you sent those screenshots around, it's your fault. I'm like, am I the one who posted something on my story calling me a furry? I think the fuck not. And I don't really care if that girl sees this video and gets mad, because, like, she doesn't really scare me like she thinks she does. One time she posted a picture of her doing meth on her story, so, like, I don't know if it was Molly or meth, but it kind of looked like meth, so I thought it was funny. But, like, and she always, like, posts, like, pictures of her, like, right after having sex with her boyfriend, like, post them naked on the bed. Just, like, the most attention grabby shit. And I was like, what the fuck? And she said, oh, you post about it, it's like your personal trauma and stuff for attention. I'm like, do you think I ever posted a picture of me fucking someone? No. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And, like, I don't like her, and I don't really care, because the thing is, I never knew her. Like, I never spoke to her in my entire fucking life, really. I had her on Snapchat, and that's how I saw that thing. But I literally never spoke to her until that situation. So I don't know why she was posting about me. Like, I didn't fucking know her. But she just wanted to insert herself, and I'm like, go off, insert yourself. I don't fucking care, but, like, you're not really relevant. The only thing you're relevant for is being an abuser supporter, but go off. So that was another situation. You can tell I'm still pissed about half of these to an extent. And it's not like I'm pissed off, like I want them to kill themselves or anything. No, I'm just pissed off because it's, like, weirdly stupid. I'm just pissed off because of how dumb it is. Those are a lot of situations that happened. Now we're going to get to another situation that happened. My friend and his ex-girlfriend broke the dress code. So my friend was, like, pissed off, unbuttoned his shirt, and walks down the fucking thing. The Miss Principal bitch, who I told you about, sent the school cop to tackle him in front of the entire fucking lunchroom. So he tackled my friend for breaking the dress code in front of the whole lunchroom. Because this bitch had an obsession, alright? She picked and chose who to go after. She didn't like me because of how I dress. She didn't like other girls. So I'll give you an example. One of my friends at the time, like, she wore a crop top. She got dress coded. Another girl wears a dress code. Wears, like, a fucking bra, basically. Nothing. Briley wears a short shirt. She's dress coded. Another girl wears a short shirt. Nothing. This girl, his ex-girlfriend, wears a short shirt. Or short shorts or something that aren't even that bad. I mean, like, literally, these crop tops were, like, this much skin. Like, they were not that bad. Dress code. Another girl wears the same shirt or same shorts, dress code. Doesn't get dress coded. Like, it's like a pick and choose situation, basically. And it pissed me off a lot. And then it was really stupid. Like, why the fuck would you attack someone? But that's just how the school is. A friend of mine at the time, I don't talk to her anymore. I don't know what happened with her. I like her, though. She's cool. But she told me a situation about how the vape detector went off, right? Keep in mind, if you're going to get a pat down, they are supposed to have a female officer and have the door open. That is not what happened. They patted my friend's bra down unconsensually with no cop. Just patted her down because they thought she had a cart. Like, dude, you don't have to fucking pat someone down without a cop. Like, are you fucking stupid? But that was just my opinion on that principal, was that she was a total bitch. She was a total cunt. I fucking hate her. And she's a dumb bitch. That's my opinion. She's a dumbass bitch. And she should get fired. That's all I got to say about her. But now we're going to go on to the big situation. Like I said, I'm going to tread lightly on this one. But as I said, the friend was being kind of cold towards me. And the other one was with her, right? Because we were a friendship trio. Well, I asked them why they're being cold to me. The one girl who was being cold to me was, like, saying that I'm too much drama, whatever. Well, I got really, really upset. Because one of my biggest triggers is abandonment, right? Like, working on that, but at the time, that really got to me. So, I said some disgusting shit. I don't even really want to talk about how disgusting it was, but I'm going to, just so you can know how disgusting it was. I told my friends of 5 years that I hope they got skinned alive and had their organs fed to them, and that they killed themselves. I said that. You're probably wondering, Chloe, why the actual fuck would you say that, and how the fuck did you even come up with that? Well, I'll tell you how I got the idea. The night before, I was watching House of a Thousand Corpses, and this guy was, like, skinned. So I was like, let me just tell them this. Because at the time, my response to being abandoned was say something that's gonna hurt. So I said something that was gonna hurt. And she reported it to the office because, I mean, why would you not? And I got an ultimatum that said that if I'm not allowed to have a phone at the school again. If I ever have a phone at the school, besides at lunch, I would get a charge. If I said anything and had any more problems, which was basically inevitable, how I dressed at the time, and I was so stubborn, I did not want to change how I dressed. But at the time, I didn't want to feed into them and, like, give them what they wanted, so I didn't want to change. So she told me that I either leave the school and go to an alternative school, or I stay there and get arrested, basically, and not have a phone. And if I don't have a phone, I can't have music. And if I can't have music, I cannot drown out the barking. And music was my only coping mechanism because, as I said, I had classes with tons of people and none of them liked me. Like, one time in classes, one girl was, like, saying I was going to bite her or something. I'm like, no, what the fuck? But, yeah, that's, like, an example how I was treated in classes. By students. Never by teachers. The teachers there were so fucking amazing. At least the ones I had were so amazing. But the students were so shit. But, yeah. We had a falling out. I said disgusting shit, and then I went to the alt school. She said in order if I wanted to come back to school, I got suspended, right? She said for me to come back, I had to have a psychiatric evaluation. Got one, passed it, didn't go to the psych ward. Suicidal ideation got really strong after that. Friendship ended. I was on the brink of suicide. I had pills in my hand. I was taking pills. About to take the pills, and Kayla called me, and she saw them, and when we cried my fucking eyes out, and I talked to her about it. She talked me down from it, which I feel bad that she had to be in that situation, but that, honestly, I'm so fucking thankful for her for that, because I would not be here today. But, yeah, I was gonna kill myself, and my mom, and then I threatened it again the next day, because my parents were like, my dad was screaming at me, because he was like, you never complete anything. You're a worthless, lazy piece of shit, and you're staying at this school, because he forced me to stay. He fucking forced me to stay. Like, I was gonna leave 2-3 weeks prior to any of these situations happening. But he would not let. The second I got barked at for a week, my first 2 weeks, I'm like, it's time for me to go. And he was like, no, you're staying there. And he basically forced me to stay at this school. And I told him, if you make me go back there, I will fucking kill myself. And I mean, I know that's disgusting. That sounds disgusting, but that's genuinely how I felt at the time. Like, I was literally on the brink of suicide. So they sent me to a psych ward. I went to the psych ward for 6 days. I was there on my 17th birthday. You can, like, see my chest getting, like, red and hives on it. That's my anxiety. Like, this is my anxiety from, like, talking about this situation. Because it's so hard for me to talk about. But, honestly, looking back at... Oh, yeah. The principal lady has told me... She was asking me about my mental health conditions for some reason. And I told her, I'm suicidal, I want to leave. I'm suicidal, I want to leave. She was trying to convince me to stay. And I didn't want to stay. And she was like, basically... She said, I can tell you the only reason you dress like that's for attention, because you look to hex people. I said, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, literally, everything you do is for attention. You have borderline personality disorder, and you dress like that. That explains everything. You do it for attention, is what she said. She said that everything I do is for attention. And I was like, you dumb fucking bitch. You dumbass fucking bitch. I did not do that for attention. I did it because I was part of a fucking subculture. I was heavily into goth music, and that is how I dressed because of that. My music taste reflected how I dressed. And she couldn't understand that. She just thought she knew what she was talking about. The bitch didn't. Well, that's what happened then. I was really suicidal. And that's all the situations I can think of. But after I left, after me and someone talked, basically after I left, it was just as bad. There was just as much drama. Everyone still has problems with each other. Oh, here's another situation I want to talk about for my best friend. She was dating this dude, right? I'm not going to get too much into him because he'll call the cops like he tried to one time, so I'm not going to get into it. But he was dating Kayla. There was this bitch, this pick-me girl, who was all up on his dick. And she would try to be friends with Kayla, tried to convince Kayla to cut me off for some reason. Well, this girl got pregnant. And we later found out, and she miscarried and cried to Kayla about it, right? We later found out that the baby was Kayla's boyfriend's. She used Kayla to get to her to fuck her boyfriend and bragged about it in class. That is the kind of people at that school. That is the kind of people that go there. Horribly mean, rude, disrespectful people. And I'm so fucking... my biggest regret there... I'm going to tell you right now the things I wish I would have done differently. I wish that the second I got barked at, I stopped dressing that way. That's the first thing. I wish I never dressed goth when I went. I wish I never dressed that way when I was there. Because if I wouldn't have dressed that way, I wouldn't have been barked at, and I wouldn't have been bullied, and I wouldn't have been in that mindset. And now my biggest regret ever was the stuff I said to my friends. I know she was being cold towards me, but I still should not have said what I said. It was fucking disgusting. I'm still hurt, but, like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I am honestly so against what I said. Just thinking of the fact that I said that is disgusting. And ever since then, I went to the mental health alternative school, and I went through DBT therapy. I've done EMDR therapy. I've got my meds changed. I got fully diagnosed with BPD. I had a tendencies diagnosis back then. Now I'm fully diagnosed, and I can actually get my treatment for it. I've done so much self-reflection. I became self-aware. I went to a hospital. And from what I could tell you, me then and me now are two different people. Honestly, that trade school fucked me up. Like, you know that to this day, because of how much bullying went on with me there, I can't sit in a lunchroom because that's where the majority of the drama and the bullshit happened. I'm always on guard. If I see teenage boys, I get the fuck away. Any dirty look sets me off, and I freak out, and I cry in a corner, and I hide in the bathroom. I won't go to any place in my town. Like, if we are, like, at a restaurant, because I was called fat a lot when I was there, too. I was called fat tons of times. So, basically, if my family takes us to a restaurant there, I hide in the bathroom. In our town, in our county, I would hide in the bathroom, because I didn't want to be recognized. So I am still, and when I went to the alternative school, there is basically a psychiatrist there. Me and her were talking, and she did a PTSD questionnaire, and I was diagnosed with PTSD. You guys are like, how the fuck could you get diagnosed with PTSD from bullying? I cannot describe to you how severe it was. It was like friendship lost after friendship lost, hated, barked at, physically, like, not physically, but, like, I was getting shit pulled off my bag, I was getting stuff thrown at me. The girl, like, the pick-me girl, was the instigator of that one, by the way. She set an entire group of boys to do it, and they were throwing shit at me, and it was all her idea. My friend who went to her homeschool told me that she's known for it, for being a bitch, so if you're watching this, bitch, I'm gonna give you a name that starts with your first initial. I'll call you Georgia. You're a dumb bitch. You're a dumb fucking bitch, and you're gonna get every ounce of karma that you deserve, because you cannot go around life treating every single fucking person that you do not know like dog shit. There is a reason nobody at your homeschool fucked with you, and that is for that exact reason. That is why you had no friends. Because of how badly you treated people. You were shitty. I don't forgive her. The girl with the situation with the posting on the Snapchat story, I don't really have a comment on her, except for the fact that I was against the fact that she was dating a known rapist. That was kind of gross to me. But besides that, I don't have a comment. The bitch who recorded me, fuck you, stop talking shit about me, you're obsessed, you're a fan, you're my biggest fan, keep watching, because I will literally name drop you. I'm just kidding, I'm not going to name drop you, because I'm not going to jail. But, yeah. All I gotta say is, I regret what I said to my friends. At the time, I regret so fucking deeply. But me and the one girl have talked it out. We've worked everything out. Me and her are on good terms. The other one refuses to talk to me. So, I just wish I could communicate it to her, like, how I felt in that time, because I was really upset. But I just wish I could communicate with her about it, but that's not going to happen, so I'm just going to, like, have to let that one go. So I basically have moved on from the friendship situation. I've moved on from that. Like, the trio situation, I've moved on from. The lab situation, I've moved on from. I've moved on from all of the situations except for how the principal treated me and how I was barked at. Those are the only things and, like, the aftermath. I have not really moved on from the aftermath, like, because, like, sometimes I still think about going to, how about that ward? Like, sometimes I'll just be thinking about how shitty that word was. That's a whole other story time for another time, by the way. I could also do a story time on how I went to the psych ward and, like, basically go in more in depth into how it's like there, because it's miserable. It's hell. But, yeah. If anyone who is mentioned in the video gets offended, that's a you problem. That's all I gotta say, because you know that you done shitty things, and I would admit if I did shitty things, but I never spoke to any of you, and you were, except for the friendship trio, I can admit I could take blame for that one. I take the blame for that one. I really do. I take the blame for it. Even though people have always, when I've analyzed it and I've talked about it hundreds of millions of times, everyone says you can't take the full blame because it wasn't all your fault. So, even if it's not all my fault, I'm still going to take the blame because I said that shit and I can't take it back. So, I'm still going to take the blame for what I said. 100% taking the blame for that, because it's not even taking the blame. It's just holding yourself accountable. Because, like, I said disgusting shit and I own up to it. The shit with Georgia, she's just the dumb bitch who is so insecure with herself that she likes to go after other girls for her own entertainment to make herself look better to guys. Same thing with the one that I said was built like a triangle and built like a D, like the letter D. You're obsessed is all I have to say about you. And the other girl, I just think it was pathetic how she dated a rapist. They broke up, good for her, and I hope good for her. But if she tries to start anything over this, I have her blocked. So, I mean, she can't do anything. So, yeah. That's my story time. I am so fucking anxious just thinking about it. I'm leaving stuff out probably. But, like, yeah. It's hard to talk about. So, yeah. If y'all want any more story times, let me know. I got a lot. I'm thinking the next one's going to be about me going to a psych ward, or it's going to be the story on why everyone at my school hates me. Because I'm going to cancel myself. Because my goal here is to cancel myself. Because I'm going to cancel myself. Like, I'm not going to let anyone else try, so I'm going to admit to all of my wrongdoings, and that's part of my healing journey, is admitting to what I've done is wrong. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I hope for all of you guys going through what I went through. Make sure that you're self-aware. Don't let it consume you. Like, you need to get out of that situation if you can, because removing yourself from the situation made it so much better for me. And it would make it so much better for you, and you wouldn't have to go through the trauma that I went through. So I don't wish that on anyone. Except for the people that bullied me. Like, if you bullied me, then yeah, you should go through exactly what I did. Like, fuck you. Y'all permanently fucked up my brain. Like, come on. Like, you guys deserve that. Like, Miss Georgia here. Yeah, you're the one who deserves to get bullied. Like, I hope the fuck you're bullied now. Like, if you're getting bullied, good. Like, good. That's all I have to say. Because you were, like, the dumbest bitch there. I saw her on Yubo one time, and I swiped on her just so I was waiting for her to add me back just so I could text her and tell her how much of a shitty person she is. Because one time I saw her at Walmart, and she starts, like, smiling and doing this to me, like, trying to be a fucking bitch, and laughing and shit. I'm like, you're lucky I didn't walk my ass over there and deck you. That's all I gotta say. So, yeah. I'm just getting myself pissed off thinking about this whole thing. Like, I'm just, like, literally getting myself fucking mad. So I'm gonna have to cut this video before I start saying some fuck shit. Nothing how I said back then. Don't worry. I'm not going to say anything about people dying or anything. But, like, I need to cut this video before I get too mad and say some shit. So, alright. See you on my next video. Bye. Forgot to mention that at that time frame, I was very unhealed. I was still processing everything bad that's ever happened in my life. And I was very mentally fucked. And I was retaliating at the end. I was telling people to kill themselves every single time they barked at me. I was saying nasty shit. And I'm just telling you, this is not a grab for sympathy. That is not self-victimization. Self-victimization, as you motherfucker wanted to comment. I know it was the guy from my fucking homeschool. I know it was. And I think I know exactly who it was, but yeah. This is not a case of self-victimization, because I know what I did was wrong. So, yeah. Everything I'm talking about is shit that was done to me unprovoked. Like, I literally did nothing but walk down the hallways dressed how I did for them to get mad. Like, they got mad because of how I dressed. So, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's actually why they got mad. Like, if you talk to anyone, all those, like, random people that hated me were literally just because they didn't like how I dressed. So, yeah. If y'all get mad because I made fun of people's looks, the reason I did that was because, A, all of the people in there who I mentioned and made fun of their looks have made fun of mine. 2, they have done really shitty things. 3, they're known, like, they always make fun of people for their looks. Like, my friends, random people they don't know, me, just everyone in general, they're just, like, really mean people. So that is why I did that, because I knew they would be watching, and so they can get a taste of their own medicine. So just know I'm not a bitch like that. I usually never make fun of people's looks, especially my friends. I usually keep looks out of it, but once my looks are brought into it, then so are yours.